All right. Well, I think we got it going here. Let's just make sure that if everyone can hear me okay, if the video is coming through okay, and if the vocals are coming through okay. If I was at a gig, I'd be saying something like test 1, 2, 3, but I usually never do that at a gig. Yep. All right, Tracy. 3220. Finally got around to doing it. Took some time. Usually at gigs, I would I would read a portion of a book by John Steinbeck for my testing the microphone for the sound check. Sound people used to love that. So we got Andreas from Germany. How are you, Andreas? Hope everyone had some great holidays and everything. Tracy's in Los Angeles. My man Christian is from France. We got Nazareth. Yep, we got Nazareth, Pennsylvania coming in here. So we have, I think we got a bunch of people in the room. Let me just check. Yeah, we got about 23 people here. That's pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. Okay. So, folks, today what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you 3220 blues. And not only am I going to be teaching you that, but I always love to teach variations, variations to the song. So you're not just going to get what Robert Johnson played, but you're going to get some variations that you can put in there, and you can have a lot of fun with it. That's the name of the game. Now, I had worked on this song just earlier this week. And oh, by the way, if you need to get the tab, okay, it's right up here. There's your tab link right there. Just go to tinyurl.com/Toby Walker tab. And that's going to take you to a web page, my lesson site, and you just scroll down and you're going to see the file that you can download for today's tablature. So make sure you get that. And then right above that, you've got a donation link, and if you'd like to donate something to me, that would be great. There's for like $5 or something like this, I'm going to give you a copy of this session, YouTube copy of this session that will only you'll get that session. And I think there's other things I'm going to be giving away. I think I'm going to be giving away a whole set of lessons called Rag and the Blues. I think that's for a $20 donation. Plus, you get everything else. And I'm giving away downloads of a CD that I have called, I think it's called Rolled In, or Toby Walker Just Rolled In. That's it, Just Rolled In. It's a live concert. That's what I'm going to be giving away in the donation link. So Rudy, you got no sound? Does anyone have any sound out there? Rudy's from Switzerland. He has no sound. Paul, you're getting sound. Tracy, you're getting sound. Rudy, maybe turn up your sound. I'm not sure why you're not getting any sound. But it's really good. No problem here. Okay, Rudy, must be something on your end. What are they doing over in Switzerland anyway? So we got people from Switzerland, from France, from Germany, from Los Angeles. We got a whole lot of people here, and that's really great. So at any rate, while you're downloading the tab, okay, and printing it out so you can follow along with the lesson, let me tell you a little bit about what I do if I'm going to play this song out. And before I start playing the song out, if I'm on stage, I'm not just going to say, "Here's a song by Robert Johnson, 3220 Blues." What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to if I played, the lyrics are so violent, because Robert Johnson's talking about blowing away his girlfriend or something like that. The lyrics are so violent that, people are going to get a little shocked when they hear the song. So I have to kind of preface this with a little bit of a story. And, violence was very prominent in the Deep South, especially in the African-American communities, very, very violent. And attesting to this, when I visited one of my visits to this man, Jack Owens in Bentonia, he was 80-something years old, and he had a pistol in his belt. I was just driving him over to the next town to visit his friend Bud Spires, and Jack put his pistol in his belt, and I said, what are you doing? We're just going over to the next town." And Jack looked at me and he says, "You never know." And on one visit to James' son Thomas in Leland, Mississippi, we're in James's bedroom, and James is sitting there, and he's playing guitar for me, and I'm watching him, and I'm learning from him. And I look on the night table, and on the night table was it looked like a handle of something, with covered by tinfoil. And I said, "What is that?" And he moved the tinfoil, and it was a pistol on his night table. And to make it even crazier, he lifted up his t-shirt and he said, "Yeah, look over here." And he had bandages on. He was 3 weeks out of the hospital with a gunshot wound. Yeah, so this sort of prefaces, that's usually what I'll tell people before I'm playing a song like this, so they can get a little bit of an idea. But anyway, let's get into the song. Rudy, I hope you got good work. You got, all right. I'm glad you got sound now. All right, Rudy, that's good. So let's take a look at the sound, this song. And again, if you need to download the tab, the link is right up there to download the tab. Now, what's interesting about this tune is that we're in the key of A, and Robert Johnson in his first verse adds a couple of extra beats, and it's not unlike for people to do that, but I was wondering if it was a mistake or not. When you listen to Charlie Patton's music can have some of his songs have like 13 and a half bars in the verses. And the first time through, you're wondering, wow, is that a mistake? But then you listen to it, the rest of it, and it's something that he meant to do. Whereas in this tune, 3220 Blues, you listen to it carefully. In the first verse, Robert Johnson adds a couple of beats out of nowhere, and then he goes back into playing the verse, and he doesn't do that for the rest of the song. So my guess is maybe he was nervous. Who knows? He only did one. I think there was only one take of this song. So anyway, we're going to get into the introduction. This is a very typical Robert Johnson introduction, and here he goes into a chord a little early, but I did decide to write that out in this introduction. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with our second finger on the third string at the 7th fret, and we're going to play that. We're going to slide it up. So if you're counting, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. You're going to be sliding it up. And then right after you slide that up, you're going to be forming an A7 chord. Sort of looks like a D7 shape, but it's up at the 8th fret. And when you come into that, you're going to be striking all 3 strings, and your thumb is coming down on the 5th string. So I'm going to play the very first measure with the slide, and I'm going to play the second measure. Now here he's just moving it back. So he goes 1, 2, 3. On the 4th beat, he comes in here. Now, in this next measure, he's going to stay on this chord, and he's going to hit the bass note, and then hit the 3rd string, and then move back. So this little introduction is going to sound like this. Okay, I'll do that one more time. Okay, that's his introduction, and he goes into his very typical Robert Johnson turnaround. For this turnaround, you're going to position your hand back at around the 2nd position here. All right, and what you're going to do is get your pinky on the 1st string at that high A note, and you're going to set yourself up for the typical Robert Johnson little walk down here. I put in the tablature that there's an A note, but there's an A chord. It's sort of suggested as the A chord. You're going to hit the 5th string, and then 1st string, and then put your your third finger down on the fourth string on the G note. Now I'm going to play this turnaround for you, and then we're going to just go over it. So again, we start off playing 2 A notes, and then come down on the G note. Now after you come down on that G note, your second finger is going to come in on the F sharp note. That's just descending down that fourth string, and you're going to pinch the F sharp and the A. Then after you do that, you're going to pick up your second finger, pinch the F note and the A. And then bring down, this is a little bit of a stretch, so you'll have to get your wrist in there and get the E note and the A note. So it's... And then finally go into an E chord. He doesn't really play the notes in the E chord, but he just gets the bass in there. Just like that. So that's the introduction that that Johnson uses in here. And Johnson plays this, if you listen to the recording, he's like speeding through this thing. So you take your time doing that. But let's take a look now at the typical verse that Johnson does. What he's doing is, in this typical verse that he's going to be singing over, he gets his first finger on an E note on the second string at the 5th fret. And he gets his second finger on the C sharp note on the 3rd string at the 6th fret. And he's still playing this bass. The song is very bass. You know, it has a lot of that bass note going on. So you really want to pound that bass note in here to get that effect. So he strikes the 3 strings and he gets the bass in here. Now, I don't know if he's using 3 fingers or not. Nobody was videotaping him, but he may have brushed up on the strings. So if you're only using like 1 finger, you can brush up on the strings. That'll be fine. And you have this. Now he brings it back and he gets a little diminished chord in here. It's the same little 7th shape, but played here at the 4th fret. Then he comes back up to the A, and he strikes that twice. See, so we have this so far. Now, here's a tricky little part. When you get into that 3rd measure, okay, on that 3rd measure, you're going to jump into this A chord, okay, and you have to jump into that A chord just before the 4th measure drops in. So let me give you an example. I'm going to count out the 3rd measure, and it's going to sound like this: 1 and 2, 3, 4. And right there on the upbeat, 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3, 4, and on that upbeat, I'm getting the 2nd string on that C sharp note, and then I'm coming down with the pinky, getting the high A, and then I come back and come back again. So we have this all together. So he kind of ends it on that A7 chord, and it's kind of nice. It's a good technique to try out in any song that you do. You know, go into the chord just a half beat before the measure starts, and it kind of propels the song. Listen to that again. Bam, 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 a little bounce in there. It's a nice little technique to put into your playing. So now let's go into the next part. This is the next line down, and Johnson is grabbing a D7 chord. And what he has here is his thumb is on that sixth string at the F sharp note. So instead of putting his F sharp note here, instead and we're pretty sure, I mean, who knows? Nobody, again, was taking pictures of him. But the way to get this chord is you can get your thumb there on that F sharp note. And you're going to play the other two notes, the C and the A, like this. So you get this chord. Now, you could do this if you want to. There's no rules here. You can do your D7 like that. So that would be fine. So in this, he plays it very lightly. We could just about hear him maybe playing the second and third string in there, but the bass is really powerful. So he gets that pounding on that F sharp note, and every now and then he'll bring in the C and the A. In the tab, I just brought it in on the second beat. Okay, then he gets back to the A chord, and it sounds like this. So we have the A, the C, the G, and the F sharp by just lifting up our second finger. Okay, and then the second time he plays that A note, he's going to brush down. This is a beautiful little effect. So let's take a look at this. I'm brushing down with my thumb, like you're brushing your hair, right? And I hit that full A chord. Then I come in with a G, then the F sharp, and then the E. And if you want to keep the bass going, it would be like this. So that bass is just constant. All right. So now let's take it into the E chord. Very easy. I mean, you could put an E chord there. You don't have to. But we're going to palm mute. That's that little PM there in the music. We're going to palm mute. And we have the sixth string just... So I got my palm just resting somewhere just about there on the sweet spot of the sixth string. I don't want it here too far over, and I want it too far back. I want it just about there. And we're going to palm mute 1, 2, 3, 4, and then add the F sharp note 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we finally go back to the A, but it's just kind of suggested here because we're really going to be moving our fingers around. Very similar thing that Johnson did in the beginning, but we're just going to double up the first string. So we have this. So let's take a look at that. We're going to start it off getting that A note right in place, and we're going to hit the low fifth string first, then the A note. Now we're going to put down our third finger, and here we're going to pinch the G note and the A note together. But after we pinch it, we're going to play that A note again. And then same thing with the F sharp. Then the F. And then finally the E. We'll get the low E note. And we're going to play this. This is your last measure. So if I'm going to put all of this together, we have this. Sorry. that's like a typical verse that he would play. Um, and if you have any questions, you can just put them right in the chat, because I can see the chat going on here. That's very typical. Now there's a Johnson. If you look at your next page in your tab, there's times where Johnson is going to come up and he's going to get back to that A7 chord, but he does this while he's singing, and it would sound something like this. He gets this, brings it back, and back again, and then he gets that. So sometimes when he's singing, he's going to hit that high A7, and I highly recommend you listening to the song a bunch of times, after you do this lesson, and you're going to hear all these components come into place. So we get this. So, and he just gets that effect. And here I'm also palm muting. Now, another thing that he does, and I think he just does this once in the tune, he gets back up to that A7, but he's going to give it a staccato effect. He gets that little staccato effect, and it's really kind of cool. Now, the way to get the staccato effect, I was teaching this the other day in a Skype lesson, and you're just going to hit the strings and pick up your fingers very lightly. You don't want to pick them off the strings, but you just want to pick them up lightly, like that. Now, you don't want to do it like too fast. You just want to let them ring and then pick it up. Now, if you have trouble with this, just practice striking the strings and then letting them down. Letting them go. And once you get used to that, try to shorten the length of time, and then till you get it like that. And he does this while he's grabbing the bass. And he gets back to that A7 chord. And for the most part, that's what he's doing in 3220 blues. But I decided, why should we just end it there? Okay. I want to show you some possible things that you can do. That could be a whole lot of fun. And this will be a little bit, this first solo I'm going to show you is a little advanced. But again, you'll have access to the tab. You have the tab. So that'll help you out a lot. And again, for like a $5 donation, that's all I would need. I'm going to send you a YouTube copy of the video, so you'll have the video to also watch along and to practice in this session. All right, so watch what I'm going to be doing. I'm getting this little bass line going. So we're getting like a left-hand piano thing going, and we're just going to be keeping our pinky on the C sharp note the whole time. And let's take a look at the bass notes that we're playing. We're going to play an open fifth string. Now I'm going to take my third finger and put it up on the C sharp note. Then I'm going to get my first finger up on the E note. And then I'm going to hit the F sharp note. And then the A. And then back. So I have this. Now, I put the C sharp note in there. You can see in the tab, it starts out. So you can, that's where I put the C sharp note, but you can put it wherever you want, okay? It's not important, but the bass line is important. Now, the second time you go through that bass line, instead of coming down on the A note, you're going to hit the open G. Okay, and then follow back. So the first time it's like this. Second time, like that. And if you want to keep that third string from ringing, you know, because you can keep it from ringing by just taking your third finger and putting it down on that F sharp, but flopping it down there, and that'll stop that third string from ringing. Okay, so we got this nice little bass line, like a piano, boom, 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 or an upright bass would be playing. It's a nice little effect to put into your playing. And you could do this, again, with any blues song in the key of A. It's just a nice little effect that you can add to your songs. Now, let's take a look at what I'm going to be doing for the D chord. What I want you to do is I want you to position your fingers like this. You're going to get your first finger on the first string on the 5th fret, and then your third finger is the F sharp note on the 7th fret, 2nd string. And then you're going to get your pinky right there on the C note on the first string at the 8th fret. And this is part of like a little D chord. Or, you know, if you can think about it, it's part of a D7 chord. But what you have here, I'm going to play the next two measures for you using this little configuration. I'll do that again. So let's take a look at what's going on before we get into what the bass is doing. We're going to start out with the C note and the F sharp note, and we're going to play just that C note, and then get our finger in to get the F sharp note. So we have, then bring the pinky back to get the B note. So we have, then pick up the pinky, and you're going to have that A note come in there with the F sharp. So we're going to do a little like a double stop. So we have, and I'm going to hit that first string again. So we get this. Just like that. Now with the bass, here I'm going to alternate the bass, so you don't have to. You can play you can play the 5th string if you want. That'll work, or you can play just the 4th string. That'll work too. But you can alternate them if you want to try it. So that's that first measure against the D. Now in the second measure, I'm going to be right back with my pinky here. Double stop, get both notes together. Bring your pinky back. And then this is a tricky part. You're going to pick up your fingers and get that second finger in there on the F note. Hit that and hammer it down to the 7th. So we have, and then finally the A note. And if I'm going to add the bass, now the tricky thing about this hammer-on is it starts on the upbeat. And as I come down on that F sharp, my thumb comes down and hits the bass. So most people, if they've never done that before, they tend to pick that note like that. But you want to get a little bit of a hammer-on in there. And now we're going to get right back into here. So this is what we have so far. I'm just putting that C sharp where I want. And the reason I do this all, I mean, I'm not looking at the tab here, but all of this, you can use any little variation of this, you know. You can just play with that. Have a lot of fun playing with this little sort of like in the cage system in A shape, partial D chord. It's a lot of fun to play with that. But now let's take a look. Here we go. We're going to go back to the A chord now, and you could do it a couple of different ways. One way you can do that is playing the A7 chord. You're going to get into your A7 chord, okay? Or you could do it this way. But your bass is going to sound like this. And your chord is going to sound like this. It's like, so you're grabbing the first and second string together like that, and you're getting your bass. So you get that. So it's a little tough to do that, okay? That's why I said this could be a little advanced, but it's a nice little addition to adding a bass in there, adding a little bass run. Now, we got that so far. The next part is going to be against the E chord. So far, we've got the A. Now we're going to get into our E chord. Okay, with the E chord, it's based off of this shape, your E7. But what we're going to do with that is we're going to take our pinky, put it on the G sharp note, and use your second finger on the D note. Okay, and this would be in our tablature. If you're looking at the tab, this would be your next page. So you have these two notes, and here's your bass line. So you get that. We're going to use our first and third finger to grab those. And we have this. So we have that nice. Now for our D chord, we're going to shift. Keep your pinky on the A note. Keep your first finger on that D string. The D note on the second string. And you're going to hit the open fourth string and those two notes. That's going into your D chord. So we have. And then watch what I do with the bass. Right up into the A. So listen to this, how this sounds. So you get that thing really rolling, and it's going to be a lot of nice little bass line in there. Now we do our final little turnaround here. And with the final turnaround, we're going to take these little chords. We get this little part of an A chord here, okay, like an A shape. An F chord shape at the 5th fret. But we're just going to grab these first 3 strings. And then I'm going to move them back. So I'm really just moving this back. But I'm keeping the high A note. Now I'm going to keep moving these 2 strings back. So we have. And then finally we get into our A chord. So we have. And then finally. So let's take a look at this E chord. We're just going to take a second finger, put it on the low G, hammer on the G sharp, and then go into our E chord, E, E, E. Sixth string, first string, fourth string. So all together, what we have is this. There's a lot in there, but that's the advanced stuff, okay? We'll take a look now on the next solo. It's a little easier. We're not moving all our fingers all over the place. This is just another possible solo. Okay, so let's take a look at this other possible solo. And again, if you need the tab, it's right up there. And then the donation link is up there. If I donate anything, it would really help. And I give you stuff back if you donate to me. I give you a big thank you. But, I also send you stuff. I think $5, it's a copy of this video. And I think it's for $15. You get that plus a copy of a CD that I have. It's all MP3s that I'll send to you. $20, you get a whole set of lessons. It's the Rag and the Blues set of lessons. Just tell you a little bit about that. In Rag and the Blues, there's this for $20. You're going to get lessons on how to play Hey Hey Daddy Blues by Blind Blake, Buck Dance and Lord I'll Be With You Always by Reverend Gary Davis, Jivin' Woman Blues by Blind Boy Fuller, which I'm going to play tonight, as a matter of fact. My own arrangement of Step It Up and Go, and Going to the Racetrack, a song that I learned from Etta Baker. And that's all like this. It's all tablature and me showing you in video, but you can also download the videos. And that's only for $20. So anyway, that's the stuff. If you click that donation link or just type that in, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So let's take a look now at this next solo. This solo is a little easier, okay? And I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it straight through, and then we'll take a look at it. A lot of cool little things going on here. So let's take a look at that, and we'll get into the turnaround at the end. We're going to start off here with a piece of like an A7 chord here. We got the G note and we have the F sharp note. So we got those two notes we're going to be playing, and we're going to keep the fifth string going. So we're going to grab the first and second string and the fifth string together. Now I'm going to come back with my F sharp note, and I'm going to add the D note. Now I'm just going to do that once. And then I'm going to come back here. I'm going to add a C note, and then get the A note. So we have. Now be careful when you're doing this, because if you hold the C note down for too long, it sounds like an A minor chord. You don't want that. So after you play that C note, pick it up and get the A note. So. Now we get a little bass run. So here I'm in my second position. I'm hitting the open fifth string, the C note, C sharp, and then the E to the F sharp. And I'm getting thumb, thumb, thumb. I get my finger in on that fourth string and then bring down my thumb. So, and then finally we get into our A chord. So now, when we go back now, we're going into our D7 chord, and here, we're going to have some fun with this. You know, we're going to... So let's take a look at what I'm doing. I'm staying on the sixth string the whole time. And I'm going to be going back and forth like this. I'm going to hit that second string with the sixth string, come in and grab my index finger on the third string, pick up my first finger, hit the open second string, and then put it down again. So we have... Now in the bass, I'm keeping that F sharp going, but I'm going to do something that Robert Johnson did in Kind-Hearted Woman. He kept that F sharp in the bass, but then just before the next measure, he lifts it up and hits an E note, and then he puts it back down again to finish up the measure. So we got... So you get that little nice little thing you can do with that F sharp note when you're playing a D7. So let's take a look at the next measure. In the next measure, we're just kind of going back and forth with this. Get that. And here, you know, the way I'm doing that D7 is my index finger is hitting that third string, and my middle finger is hitting that second string. So, just like that. Then right back into our A chord. So with this next measure coming into the A, so let's take a look at this. I grab the two A notes on the fifth and third string, on the bass note. I'm going to bring my pinky in to grab the high A note. And then the next note I'm going to play is the G note by itself. And as I pull that off to the F sharp, I'm hitting the fifth string like that. So I have... Now you can hit the open E after that if you like. Or in the tab I have it where I take my pinky and I grab the E note here on the second string at the fifth fret. So I get... And finally we get into our E chord, and with the E chord, I'm going to be hitting the open third string and the sixth string together and hammer. So I'm hammering that. Then I'm going to grab the open first string and then get my E7th chord by getting my D note in there by itself. Two more bass notes. Now finally we're going to be coming up into our D7 chord. We're going to repeat the thing that we were doing before. We have... Now let's take a look at how I'm getting into that A chord. I'm getting into it pretty quick, right? I'm getting my finger right in there. And then coming in with the bass. And finally, this is your last page. I'm doing the turnaround. I'm sorry. Ha! So if you wanted to end the song, you can do it like... Kind of end it like that. You know, that's a cool way to end the tune. Um, the other thing is, in there sometimes Johnson, he would do these little variations on this A7. After he did his D7, he would do something, you know. And what's nice about this little shape is you could do any variation you like after that. That was just a little variation I made up. But you can do all kinds of little things with that song. So anyway, that's part of it, and I'm gonna play. I'm just gonna improvise a little bit. I'll improvise a little bit with some of the things I was doing, and anyway, that's 3220 Blues. Again, you can always download the link. It's download the tab. It's right there. There's the tablature right over there. The tablature thing, and it's just tinyurl.com/Toby Walker tab. And you get there and you could download the tab for this lesson. And the donation link is right up there too. It's just tinyurl.com/Toby Walker. And anything that you can donate, because I don't know when I'm going to be back doing live music again. I just don't know when, in front of an audience. That would be so nice in front of an audience. So any donation that you can give for the lesson, that would be great. I would really appreciate that. And I give you things back. The last thing that I'm also giving is, and this is a big donation, I have like over 450 video lessons with all kinds of things. It's on my Premier membership site. And for a $60 donation, you get a year's access to over 450 guitar lessons just like this. Andres, yeah, you want me to play the complete song? And you want me to sing it? Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that tonight, but let me bring up the lyrics. Sure. That sounds like a good idea. Here we go. Well, I sent for my baby, and she don't come. Yeah, I sent for my baby, man, and she don't come. All the doctors in hot springs sure can't help her none. And if she gets unruly, she thinks she don't want to do it. Yeah, and if she gets unruly, things she don't want to do. Take my 3220 now, I cut her half in two. Yeah, I sent for my baby, and she don't come. Yet I sent for my baby, man, and she don't come. Yeah, all the doctors in Hot Springs sure can't help her none. Special, but I believe it's much too light. Got a 38 special, but I believe it's much too light. Yeah, I got a 3220, gonna make the caps alright. pistol, get my Gatling gun. Yeah, and I'm gonna shoot my pistol, get that Gatling. Yeah, you made me love you, and now you're man and gun. Yeah, now baby, where you stay late last night? Said now baby, where you stay last night? Got your hair all tangled and you ain't looking right. Boy, do I have a lot of fun. Anyway, so that's 3220 Blues. That's a lot of the other things sometimes I just want to throw in there, but um, I hope that the tablature and some of the things that you've seen in the lesson can give you some other ideas as to how you can take a song like this and kind of make it your own. Anyway, and the last thing I wanted to let you know, thanks, Christian, my man in France. The last thing I want you to know is I was just talking about that Premiere website. Usually, I charge $125 for access for a year. It's a subscription site, but if you donate $60, you don't have to subscribe, just $60 for a donation, and you get access to, like I said, over 450 lessons and a whole bunch of other things. There's like hot licks. Any new lesson that I come out with, I usually put up on the site. Concerts like tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be doing a concert where I'm going to be playing this song and a bunch of others. And I videotape, I tape those concerts, and that also goes up on the Premiere member site. So they get access to everything. Anyway, so that's what I have, folks. Rudy, my man Rudy out in Germany. Rudy, I hope I come back to Germany and play, man, because I really missed playing for you folks over there a whole lot, and coming out back to Switzerland. Andreas is in Germany. Rudy's in Switzerland. I remember meeting Rudy. It was so cool when I was out in Switzerland. So anyway, folks, tonight in about 3 hours, 3 hours. I got to go walk my dog and my dog Charlie. I'm going to go do a whole concert right here. Going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to be doing a whole concert, playing a whole bunch of different songs for y'all. So anyway, folks, and there was no lag, right? No lag, no freeze, Mike. That's good. I'm glad, because I have a new camera. And the other thing that I'm doing too is I'm using a thing called Lightstream, which goes into the Twitch channel. But the other thing is I'm at a way higher speed right now. I'm like uploading at like 820 megabytes per second. The thing I was using last year was 40 megabytes per second. Not good. But anyway, so I'm glad it's no freezing. And folks, I will see you all, hopefully. Every Thursday, I do a guitar lesson. And every Thursday in the evening at 7 p.m., I do a concert. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. If you can donate anything, there's your donation link right up there. Thanks, John. You're very much welcome, John. Toby being back. Yeah, Rudy, you had shoulder surgery. Well, I'm glad you're back. You must be feeling good, better. So I'm really glad for that, Rudy. I'm glad that you're back. Okay, folks, I think that's going to be it. And I'll see you all. I'll see you all shortly. Take care now.